everyone, today we're going to talk about the wizard class. It's the last of our series of the 10 Shatterheart classes. Now the wizard is by far the most flexible class because we've designed a class in terms of modularity. So any non-divine magic user can be played as, or non-nature based rather, because druids can be played as a wizard. So we don't have sorcerers. We simply have certain spell genres, schools of magic that are granted by external powers and work slightly differently, such as evocation and sorcery and hex magic in the game. And we don't have warlocks. Warlocks are a silly way around the Vancian magic system in Dungeons and Dragons, and it's a mess. The class is a mess. In terms of lore, what's the difference between a warlock and a sorcerer? The lore is the same. It's just mechanical difference that was introduced in 4th edition to try and get round the stupidities of the Vancian magic system. We don't have a Vancian magic system in Shatterheart. We have a slightly hybrid system, which is a mana-based system, i.e. you have resources and a chance, if you roll a critical miss on your spell casting skill when you cast a spell, to lose that spell until the next sleep rest. Although you can get it back if you spend an invocation point, which is painful because you need invocation points to avoid bleeding to death and many other reasons. So that's how we overcome it. So in building the wizard class, it's possible to build any kind of subclass or genre of wizard or mage that you may have found from the literature or previous editions or whatever. So you can build a witch, specialised in hex magic. You can build a sorcerer. You can build an illusionist. You can build an elementalist. You can build what you like. So that's why I say that it's the most flexible of all of the classes in terms of how you build it out. Okay, so let's now have a look at the playbook for wizards. Now, the first thing you do when you are creating a wizard is decide your arcane profession, and then you have to decide, it's part of your backstory. So it's your destination backstory that replaces many other destination backstories. It's all consuming. You know, you don't learn to be a potter when you're a wizard. You learn spells, or learn to be a pirate or fisherman or whatever. So I mean, there are some basic ones such as magicians' guilds, wizard schools, so on, oracular temples, each of which focusing on a different type of magic. So basically you decide the type of magic genre you want to be, and then you choose the arcane profession to match. So for example, if you're choosing necromancy, I should say as well, at level 1 you get 3 spell genres. You automatically get enchantment and divination because magicians need to earn a living, and they earn a living through enchantment, creating magic items, and divination. And then they choose another magic genre, which is the main magic genre of their arcane profession, to specialise in. So that could be arcane, it could be hex magic, it could be evocation and sorcery, etc., etc. So now you've learnt, you've chosen your magic profession, you then have to choose your spells. Now, wizards are very flexible. They have a certain number of cantrips at level 1, they have a certain number of spells which scale up with them. Okay, as you level up, you gain spells learned. There's a difference in Shatterheart between the spells you learn and the spells that you can use, which is unique to the wizard class. A wizard can learn any number of spells, but can only use a certain number per day, which are called spell slots. We'll come on to spell slots in a moment. Now, you either learn spells academically, you put them in your grimoire, or they're automatically granted by a higher power. So, for example, evocation and sorcery, fey magic, hex magic are granted by a higher power. You do not need to learn these spells, but you have a certain lack of flexibility because they automatically use spell slots. However, if you wish to specialize in one of these spell skills, for example, becoming a witch through hex magic or becoming a sorcerer through specializing evocation and sorcery spells, there are abilities you can purchase which will increase the number of spell slots. Now, spell slots is like that. It is like taking a page out of your spell book and fitting it into your foldable character sheet, which can only hold so many spells per day. Um, and it's because magic is hard. Magic is incredibly hard. So even if you know a spell, there's only so much mental capacity you have, which grows as you grow in level to learn spells. And in terms of Grimoire, you have a choice as a wizard at level 2. You can either um, have a familiar, such as a cat or an owl, which has various advantages. For example, you can cast where they can see, which might be round a corner, for example, um, or you can have a living spell book, a living grimoire, which also has advantages. We won't go into the exact mechanisms of that because our main focus today is to give a general overview of the wizards. Um, um, Wizards also have can use a focus, which is called an arcane anchor, or arcanus ancora, to use its full name. Now, this can be a ward, staff, amulet, etc., um, which you gain automatically as part of your arcane profession. And as you level up, this becomes more powerful. Now, the main purpose of this is as you cause triggers through casting magic, which give you focus points, mana points in the case of a wizard, um, you can store any surplus mana in these and roll it over to the next encounter. So if if you use particularly strong magic, um, you can you can roll this over from encounter to encounter. Um, Also, wizards have an ability to create what's called a focus pool, and if they know an encounter's coming, like oh, round the corner is the ogre mage, right? We better prepare. You can bam, 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 and you can create focus slots, which is automatically half filled with focus points. Now, part of the reason for this is imagine you've just ploughed your way through a dungeon, um, uh, and you come across the Archmage as the big bad villain. Now, in the traditional D&D Vancian magic system, you might only have a couple of spell spaces left. Spell slots, rather, isn't it, in Dungeons and Dragons? Spell slots left, and this being an NPC has done nothing all day apart from drink tea. So they have a huge advantage. So this is a way really of mitigating the attrition problem with any magic system, whether it's slot based or Vancian or mana based. Um, Wizards have lots of choices in Shatterheart and how they manage their mana, and really the success in being a wizard is managing their mana. Okay, right now let's come on to wizard skills. There's really only one specifically wizard skills, which is Arcana, which is the ability to study and use magic. Now, wizards are very much specialists in magic and knowledge skills. They get 2 knowledge skills at level 1, as well as their general skills and their specialist arcana skill, which replaces the esoterica skill. Esoterica skill is like a non-expert general knowledge of magic, like knowledge a bard might have of magic, whereas arcana is knowledge of the universality of magic, how magic actually works. Apart from those skills, basic skills, weapon skills, weapon proficiency skills, wizards have less of those than any other class. So that shows how very much wizards are focused on sage knowledge and magical knowledge. If we now wizards also possibly have a little bit less in terms of abilities gained through leveling than other classes, because most of their power comes from spells. So most of the abilities you gain either are to do with enhancing or shaping magic, what some systems call meta magic, which in Shatterheart is available to all classes, or are about resisting magic. And some of these abilities give you additional flexibility. So, for example, there's this ability here, Reserve of Mana. Let's say you've got only 1 mana point left and you're casting a 2 mana point spell. Possibly only higher level wizards would face this problem, because you don't really get 2 mana point spells until higher levels. You can still cast it at 1 mana point, but it's cast at hindrance, i.e., you've got much less chance to have it succeed. And you've got certain specialist abilities here, such as Sacrificial Drain and Supernatural Connection, which are really only available to innate or spontaneous casting genres like Evocation and Sorcery. Okay, in terms of the level earned ability, I mean, also wizards don't get fighting specializations. They've just got one set of specializations that they get at every other level. They do get 1 automatic level earned ability, which kind of give general enhancements to your magical abilities. I'll just give a couple of examples here. At level 9, for example, magic resistance. If you're expert in a magic genre, you get resistance to magic in that genre. Another one at cast 12 is one of my favourites, which is if you cause a critical hit in certain forms of damage, in the next turn the target is vulnerable to that form of damage. You also have an ability at higher levels to fly without having to cast the fly spell. You automatically get a magical broom or carpet or whatever it is, all the way to the skills you have at Archmage at level 20, the capstone ability, where you have resistance to all magic genres. Well, that's it. It's been a pleasure describing each of the spells in the Shatterheart system, and we'll see you again when we talk about something completely different.